Oh no, this is why I have to shut up online. Hi, I'm Rebecca Black, and I'm gonna be answering questions from the Confession Cube with page 6. Okay. Whoa, we're starting big. Okay, describe each of the 7 tracks off Salvation in one word. Salvation, saved. Trust, sexy. Sugar Water Cyanide, loud. American Doll, fierce. Tears in My Pocket, love. Do You Even Think About Me, mad. And Twist the Knife, dead. Why did you choose Trust to be the lead single off Salvation? It's a great question. Trust was one of those songs that as soon as we wrote it, it immediately felt like the right first song. Don't know how to describe it other than it feels like an opening and an intro to the world and feels like the best kind of like Kickstarter for the rest of the project. Trust and Sugar Water and Salvation, which were kind of the singles for this project, all felt like they like encapsulated overall the energy the best out of all of them, and I think that's what I look for in choosing a single. Speaking of, what was the process like making Sugar Water Cyanide? Making that song was literally like blacking out for 6 hours, and all of a sudden we had that song. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it came from. Me, Jesse St. John, and Night Feelings wrote the song. It was the last, like, one of the last writing days of the project, and Jesse had really kind of advocated for me working with this producer, Night Feelings, thinking we'd have like some really cool synergy, and it literally like melted out of us, and the song was basically done when we left the studio that day. It was one of the easiest songs to write, one of the most fun and like cathartic songs, and I think we all were re-listening to it now like about a year later being like, what, how did we do this? What happened? That felt like a delivery of a song in a lot of ways, but it's one of my favorites for sure. You've traded in your bedazzled chainsaw for a bedazzled gun on the album cover. What's the visual aesthetic for this new era? It is all about a girl on the run, a girl who is kind of brushing through all of the ideas or thoughts or concerns of anybody else to make her own path. She is everything I think that I am not, which is like loud and maybe a little bit volatile and very unafraid and just moving to the beat that she has put on for herself, which can change at any point in time, and it really only matters what she thinks. You tweeted that you've never felt more sure about yourself and what you've made than with Salvation. What do you hope fans take away from it? Salvation really was like a process of learning how to become really sure in myself. I mean, I remember sending each and every song off of this project to people I worked with and people I love to be like, look, this is cool, right? And it took people quite a second to understand it, especially some of like, you know, the heavier, deeper tracks on Salvation, and I really had a good feeling about what I was creating, and I felt really proud of it, and so I just like pushed forward and was like, you know what, when these are done, you're gonna get it. And sure enough, it's become like one of my, you know, most loved interpersonally and in, I think, the world of what I've made. It's some of the best I've ever done, and this project really is about like shutting down the peanut gallery of the world and learning how to trust your own intuition. How did you get into DJing? It was really something that I just started to do for fun through kind of learning through my friends and people who had controllers, and I would DJ little house parties. That kind of turned into DJing small clubs in LA and doing little nights. The first place I ever played was this night called Candy Pop, which was an LA and New York party that used to happen at this place called the Satellite in LA. Iconic place, iconic party. And I've just kept at it for the last 6 years now and have really enjoyed throwing parties. Who would your dream artist to DJ back to back with? Whoa. I feel like DJing with like Robin would be ecstasy, ethereal, gorgeousness. I would learn so much, and I love her. And she's a club classic, you know? Walk us through your ideal Friday night out. Okay. I have a lot of different Friday nights in me. I have definitely embraced the idea of a bender this year. I'm finding out that, you know what, I'm young, I've got it, let's give it all we've got. I think if I'm going out, I usually want to dance or I want to play pool. I love a dive bar, I love a club, I love to sweat. I'm usually drinking an espresso martini if things are getting a little bit out of hand, and I'll usually regret it the next day, but it is worth the fun. But I think a good chat, a good talk, a good meal, a good night out after a meal, love that too. What song other than yours is your favorite to hear in the club? I'm a huge nostalgia queen. Like the classics like Holla Back Girl, any Britney, anytime 212 comes on, that makes me go crazy. When a DJ hits a crazy unhinged mashup where they put together two songs you would have never thought ever had the right to go together, that usually blows my mind the most. Honestly, I would love to hear like Fireflies by Owl City. I think that would go crazy. What did your 2024 Spotify Wrapped look like? Charlie, Lana, Gaga, Chapel. I forget who my fifth one was. Oh, Beyonce, it was Beyonce. You went viral before going viral was really a thing. What advice would you give to people experiencing virality today? It really can happen to anyone and everyone, and I feel like it kind of does. The world feels so much bigger and so much smaller when all of a sudden you have much more people perceiving you, and it really only matters how you perceive yourself, I think, at the end of the day. As long as you feel good about who you are and are kind and full of love. Virality is not something that can be formulated. It's not something that can be predicted. I don't know why it happens, but it kind of happens to all of us these days, so stay safe out there. How did your early music influence the sound of Salvation? I think that everything that I have made over the years, no matter how, big or small part of it I had, I think back in the early days, as I was making my first music, I was, a child. Crazy. And because of that, I really didn't have a lot of say in kind of the choices that were being made, and I was, trying to soak everything in and trust those around me. And these days, I am 100% the leader of everything I do, and I really, really enjoy making and creating and envisioning everything kind of from the ground up. I think if there's one other thing that from my early days that's really inspired where I'm at now is my background as a theater kid. Everything I do, I think, stems from what I learned in doing theater growing up and doing musical theater. I love productions, I love theatrics, I love also just creating something with a group of people and a collective people that are making one show or one music video or one song. I really love collaborating. What advice would you have for 2011 Rebecca Black? There's a lot of advice I could still probably take from hopefully an older version of me, but I think I would tell her that all of the answers she is looking for in life, she already has within her. And anyone who tries to tell her differently is wrong and lying, and they know it. Especially if they're older and quote unquote wiser. Oh, what is the biggest misconception about Rebecca Black? I don't know what the biggest misconception would be, but if I were to name one, it's that I do this for any other reason other than loving what I do and loving to create. If I did not have that love, I would be empty inside and exhausted, and I would have given up. Because this industry's hard, and being a young person within it and trying to form a sense of self, it's been hard. The therapy bills have racked up. What can fans expect from the Salvation Tour? I'm bringing back my dancers, which I'm so excited. I have always loved to dance, and choreography has been a huge part of this era and something I've been building on for a while. Expect the same level of insanity, if not more, as the giant breasts and bedazzled chainsaws. More bedazzled weaponry. I love to see what TSA really can allow. If you look at the regulations, you can really bring a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think, as long as it's locked up. So I have fun with that. What's it like being a gay icon? I am honored to have the title, and I hope to keep the crown as long as I can. That was Confession Cube. Thanks for having me, Page 6. I'm Rebecca Black, and if you haven't already, or if you have, go stream Salvation. It's out everywhere now, and I love it dearly. And once you do, I hope to see you out on the Salvation Tour. Bye.